Shalom, call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakal Kodash, double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, the elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua, back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you who made it. All right, so today's update is going to be more of the same from yesterday because this thing is expanding, okay? Shortly after Russia was surprised by drones hitting their airfields and destroying some of their nuclear bombers, right, which is very significant. They retaliated, went back into Ukraine and destroyed a bunch of stuff with some missiles. All right, and then today, all right, hours ago, Ukraine or whoever's doing the airstrikes did it again, letting you know this thing is about to spiral out of control. We're at tit for tat right now, all right, and it's only gonna within hours. It's gonna spiral out of control. Now, I mean, there are other prophecies that have to come forth. So the ICBMs are not going to fly just yet because there are other things that must take place. We still have Jacob's trouble. We still have the mark of the beast. All of these things have to be in play. Now, those things are going to come quicker now, but this is how you measure the time, all right? The nuclear missiles are the end, all right? The end of the world as we know it. But other prophecies must take place before mutually assured destruction. We'll just put it that way. All right, so this is 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe means destruction. To the world. What world? The age, okay, that we're in right now. All right? Eon. Okay? This world, the world as we know it, an expanse of time, is coming to an end. It's going to end in nuclear destruction. For the sword, what is that sword? Missiles, nuclear missiles, and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in there. A sword is a weapon, from a dagger to a katana, or the modern day sword, which is a gun, or a missile, or an ICBM. Okay? And it's a plague. The plagues are sent. All right? Let's see. Just read 11 real quick. This is 2 Ezra 15:11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt, this is America, with plagues, ICBMs, as before, right? Ancient Egypt, and will destroy all the land thereof. These plagues are viruses and things of that sort, but there are these plagues. Okay, you have to, in the spirit, you have to know what the plagues are. Let's go to it real quick. This plague, Zechariah 14. And this will be the plague that will end the world as we know it. All right, Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem, right? The Israelites. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. That's nuclear blast. Okay? What did it call? What was it called? A plague. All right? So that is the time that we're in. We're in the time of World War III that is escalating out of control. All right? For the sword, okay, a glittering sword, and their destruction draweth nigh. Okay, that's the end. Right? The great earthquake. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, World War III, and swords in their hands. Okay, so watch a couple of videos, bring it up to date. This is, let's watch this. This reads, okay, News Nation, missiles hit Ukraine after Russian air base explosions. Okay, so this is Russia retaliating after their air bases were bombed. Okay, and we'll watch that. It's a little 3 minutes. And this, okay, is heavy smoke billows from Russia, Kursk after drone attack. All right, now I believe that this happened today. All right, now for sure, yeah, Kursk. See Kursk? Now, this one says Russian air bases under attack from Ukraine question. Drones target Kursk airfield explosion reported. This says 3 Russian bases attacked in less than 48 hours. Look, a third, not the 2 from yesterday, air base was set ablaze after drone attack on Tuesday. Okay? Today. Today's Tuesday. This came after Ukraine demonstrated a new ability to penetrate hundreds of kilometers deep into Russian air. So we're going to watch these. All right. There's a succession. There's a tit for tat going on. Yesterday, Ukraine surprised Russia, got through its defenses, and bombed some airfields. All right. And here, again, here's where they retaliated. Russia retaliated. Missiles hit Ukraine after Russian airbase explosion. That was the retaliation. And today, Ukraine hits back again. All right? Here's what's going on. This is the update. So let's watch this first.
A single platform.
Slovakia commercials. You know how they do. Here we go. I'll have to back it up. Okay. Come on. Back that thing up. Here we go.
Wall Street Journal is reporting that the U.S. secretly modified some rocket launchers given to Ukraine so they could not be used to attack Russia. Is that something that's unusual, or is that pretty standard practice?
Well, good evening, Nicole. I know I read that same piece in the Wall Street Journal, and my sources tell me that essentially the Biden administration really hasn't confirmed or really denied that report, but it certainly would be what we would expect. I believe that's a prudent measure on our part to make sure that those really sophisticated and very precise rocket systems would not be able to essentially leave Ukrainian airspace and attack Russia, because the objective here is to certainly we want Ukraine to win and hold.
We what? We want Ukraine to win. So what he's saying is he's obfuscating. He's going around the truth. Yes, of course it was America that modified the drones or whatever to be able to get down in and know when Russia was about to launch their attack and their counteroffensive. So you kind of beat them to the punch. That's what's going on here. This guy's explaining it away, all right, that's what he's supposed to do, all right. Tokyo Rose and whatever. So I think when this happened, the second Tuesday strike had not happened yet. So I'm going to let him finish what he said.
Russia and so forth, but we also don't want to engage Russia ourselves into any type of offensive act.
And my point is this. The war is America against Russia. All right? Russia knows that. All right? And for that matter, let's see what the Bible says. Okay? See, because that's what we're going off of. Men of the Lord, we're reading the prophecies. Okay? Here's what's going on. I will stir up the Medes. Okay? Isaiah 13:17. Behold, meaning look, I, who's I? God, Yahweh. Let's go here. I will stir up who? The Russians. Against them. Who is them? Them is Babylon. Who is Babylon? America. Here's the fight. Look, God is doing this. He's stirring up the Russians against the Americans. Now, this guy is trying to explain that away. Oh, it wasn't us. Of course it was you. It wasn't the Ukraine. It wasn't the Ukraine that you're giving all the weapons to and modifying them. No, we don't believe that for a moment. Okay? All we got to do is read the Bible to find out what's going on. God making you do this. All right? You don't have a choice. You're going to do his will like everybody is. It's the Most High's will for World War III to come in so he can destroy the world as we know it, this age that's coming to an end, which will end in mutually assured destruction. Nuclear blast. Nobody could stop that. We're watching it play out right now. Excuse me. All right.
Which then could certainly up the ante. So I think it's a prudent move if indeed that is true on those reports.
All right, so General, we just heard that. We don't want to engage Russia. We don't want to goad Putin into possibly.
Who's we? Is we Ukraine? We don't want to goad. You don't have a choice. How is the Most High stirring up the Medes? You're looking at it. He's making these Babylonians fire missiles on it. He knows exactly what's going on. He's like, oh, no, you didn't. Now I got to bomb that out. Now it's on and cracking. So the Medes are being stirred up right before your eyes. We're watching.
Using nuclear weapons. But the other side of that argument is that by not giving Ukraine those long-range missiles, Russia essentially knows it can attack Ukraine without any fear of retribution. So how does the U.S. kind of balance those two arguments, those 2 points there?
Why are they talking about Russia fighting the United States? That's where this thing is going. It's spiraling completely out of control. Out of whose control? Out of you Edomites' control. This is Edomite on Edomite crime right here. Oh, it's black on black crime. What is this? They just play with bigger AKs and ARs, right? Kalashnikovs and Colts.
Well, the first point is the fact that there's my numbers tell me over $60 billion of aid have been provided by the United States and several billion more from NATO. Point one. Point two, we've been really making sure that the NATO leadership led by the United States is holding strong against Putin, against Russia. And we're also providing them highly capable systems that will, again, thwart any type of attack or air defense systems that will provide cover for Russia's long-range forces.
He shall cause their tongue to fall upon themselves. Right? He just told you, implicated you. Well, where's all that firepower coming? Well, we're doing what we do all over the world when we're trying to take over a country and install a puppet government. We're staging a coup.
Well, I think that's significant. I think it's a tightrope, though. We do not want to compel Russia to up the ante in terms of demonstration of, say, a tactical nuclear weapon that you and I have talked about several weeks or so.
Then what the hell are you doing? What are you over there doing right now?
So, but it's one where I think the U.S. is doing an extraordinary job providing these capabilities. That said, we're entering a very significant period of time in winter where the Russian forces and the Ukrainian forces are almost not quite at a stalemate, but because of the rather cold conditions, it's going to be very difficult to keep the fight going, and therefore you kind of get into a sense of war of attrition. However, Ukraine still maintains the offense, and I believe that's significant. The Russians are still on the heels of their defense, and we'll see how this plays out. But I don't think Russia is going to stop, and like I said the other night, Ukraine's not going to quit.
Yeah. Well, General, last question for you. Only have about 30 seconds here. But, over the weekend, the U.S. Director of National Intelligence said Putin has, quote, become better informed about Russia's struggles in Ukraine. What do you think that really means, and how could that impact the next phases of this war?
Well, what that means is the fact that public opinion, the fact that his 300,000 soldier call-up has not been going very smoothly. Perhaps his inner circle is starting to, not only question his overall decision about attacking Ukraine in the first place, but whether or not he's got the capabilities and the weapon systems and, frankly, the arsenal to continue on. What I think is he's trying to aim for is a spring offensive, whether or not he's able to carry that off. And if he does carry that off, Nicole, in the spring, how effective will that be against a very difficult Ukrainian military that has really shown its not only its will, but its capabilities in the field. And the last point is they've also mentioned to him, and he knows, the United States and NATO is not going anywhere at all. We're going to stay behind Ukraine.
Absolutely.
Whoa. And there it is. What do you mean stay behind Ukraine? And what do you mean? Oh, he's going to wait until the spring when his best offense comes in the winter? This is propaganda. This is a puff piece giving a cover to the United States and what their true objective is. All right, so anyway, we'll read this again. Missiles hit Ukraine after Russian airbase explosion. So this is in the middle of that thing. This is 16 hours ago. All right, so we'll go from there. These next ones are short, and I'll try not to interrupt. This is Russian airbase under attack from Ukraine. This is today. Okay, let's check this out.
Look at
Damn commercials. Okay, I have to read this one. I'll just play a little. Another Russian airbase under attack. This is today. How many? 2 hours ago. Okay, see? Let's read that again. Slovakia. And this is really what I want to get across. 3 Russian air bases targeted in 2 days. So today was one day. Yesterday was the other day, meaning this war is cracking right now. All right? And it ain't no Ukraine suddenly rising up, going in and bombing Russia. Right? Bombing Russia? That's crazy. All right? Where is this going? Where is this going to lead to? It's going to lead to World War III. All right? You don't bomb fucking Russia. It says it repelled a drone attack in Kursk. You see this? This is on and cracking. Drone attack set fire to an oil storage. They got to hit that fuel for World War III. This a day after similar raids on air bases in Ryazan and Saratov regions. Here it is right here. A day after. Okay, so this is ongoing war. The war has started in earnest now. It's not only in the Ukraine. Now, and you got to wrap your mind around it. Russia is under attack? Who could it be? Who's got the balls to attack Russia? Certainly not the Ukraine. The Ukraine is Russia. That's their fight. What are we doing over there? What is the U.S. doing over there? Okay? This is the end of the world as we know it. Terrorism. Wow. Here it is. It's spiraling out of control. One more. It's Tuesday. Okay, this is. Oh, okay. This is just the attack itself. 21 seconds. Let's see. Heavy smoke billows from Russia's Kursk airfield after drone attack. Boom. The war is on and cracking. Look at that. Good enough. That's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes, and aeroplanes. Let's get that. That's great. Let's see. What's this? That's YouTube. Let's use this. That's great. It starts with an earthquake. Where does the earthquake come from? REM, end of the world. Lyrics. Okay, we'll start here. All right, it's the end of the world as we know. It's the end of the world as we know it. And guess what? I feel fine. How does it start? That's great. It starts with an earthquake. What earthquake? This earthquake. All right. The end of the world starts with an earthquake. Revelation 11. Okay. Let's see what the Bible says about this earthquake. Revelation 11 and 13. The same hour was there a great earthquake. Right? Why was the earthquake? Because of all the nuclear missiles hitting at the same time. And the 10th part of the city, what city? Babylon, the great city. Okay? Which spiritually is called, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, same city. Where is it? The city. What great city? Babylon, the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Okay? Let's talk about America. Whose dead bodies? The bodies of the Israelites. Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and speckled bird. All right? And the 10th part of the city, that's talking about all 10 FEMA regions, all 10 zip codes, right? And in the earthquake were slain of men 7. 7 means completion. 7,000. And the remnant, who's the remnant? The ones that were saved. Oh, I'm saved. What does a Christian say? I'm saved. And don't know what it means to be saved. What does it mean to be saved? Well, here it is right here. Here's what it means to be saved. What it means to be saved is to be abducted by aliens, okay? Weren't you told in your lifetime that the worst possible thing that could ever happen to you in your life is to be abducted by aliens, right? And they're going to shove a cattle prod up your ass? Haven't you been told that? When actually, who would say that? Who would say the worst thing that could ever happen to you in the world is to be abducted by aliens? Who would say that? Those who are not going to be abducted by aliens. They want to make you believe that it's a bad thing. Oh, little green man's going to... No, here's what's going to happen. Right before this earthquake, right before those missiles hit, right, here's what happens. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. Okay? So a big old spaceship pulls up, right? And out of the spaceship they hear, come up hither. And they, who's they? The ones that are going to be saved from the destruction, ascended up to heaven in a cloud. That cloud is a spaceship. And their enemies, the ones that would tell you that the worst thing that could ever happen to you is to be abducted by aliens. Who would say that? The enemies of them that are being saved. And their enemies watched the whole thing. And those enemies were still on the ground, right? When that earthquake hit, and they were part of the 7 complete number of men in America that died, right? It says, in the same hour was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. All of America was on fire. And in the earthquake, everybody died that wasn't beamed up. That's what it means. And you can think what you want to. You could call me crazy. But I could prove everything that I'm saying. All right? Here's the missiles. I just showed you Zechariah, ICBMs. Joel 2. This is the day of the Lord is when the missiles hit. A day, I'll start at the top. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, sound an alarm in my holy mountain, Israel. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm blowing the trumpet and I'm sounding the alarm. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh, it is very close. We're very close to the end of the world as we know it. Okay? A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong, there hath been ever the like. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire, these are the missiles, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The missiles. Okay? The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, horsepower, and as horsemen, so shall they run. And it goes down and it explains, it describes the missiles. Okay? Back to REM. That's great. It starts, what starts? The end of the world as we know it. Starts with an earthquake. I just explained it. That's those missiles. Birds. What are birds? Let's get it. As birds flying. What is this? What could this be talking about? Isaiah 31 and 5. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. Talk about them Israelites. You can fly up in them what you call UFOs. See that? Right? Is Jesus not coming back in the clouds? Of course he is. As birds fly, birds, and what? And snakes. Wait, let's go back. We got birds, right? We got the earthquake. That's great. Babylon the Great. It starts with an earthquake, mutually assured destruction. Birds, as birds flying. Let's get birds. Let's go here. This is the book of Acts 1. When Jesus left the earth, how did he leave? He left in the clouds. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up. Who is he? One you call Jesus, whose name is Yahushua. He was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Huh? Look, a cloud. The Caesar Borgia, and there's a cloud. And while they looked steadfastly, the disciples, toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. What does that mean? That means when he comes back, he's going to come back the same way you saw him leave. What do you mean when he comes back? I mean the second coming. How is he going to come back? A cloud received him out of their sight. The same way you saw him go, right? He's going to come back the same way. Shall so come, second coming. Okay? That cloud, right? Revelation 1 and 7. Second coming. Behold, he, who's he? The one you ignorantly call Jesus, cometh, second coming, with clouds. And every eye shall see him, right? Why? Because his cloud, his chariot, his war chariot is so big, it looks like a big old mountain, as in she'll be coming around the mountain, right? And they also, which pierced him in all kindreds of the earth, shall wail. They're going to be scared their ass off, right? They're going to be scared their ass. The hell do you think this is? Okay? What is this? What is this? What's this big old thing? I'd play this, but I just want a picture. Independence Day is about what? It's about the second coming of Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. All right? That's what the whole movie is about. All right? That chariot was so big. Okay, let's get that. What the hell is that? So I can bear with me. This is going long. You see this? Why are they making this movie? Why are they making this movie? See the clouds? What came out of the clouds? The cloaking device? Why did they make this movie? Okay. Okay, back to the... Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. Here's how he's coming back. Where is it? Boom. All right. Birds. As birds flying. Okay. The clouds. So, 104 and 1. Listen close. Psalm 104 and 1. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord, my God, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Who coverest thyself with light as with a garment, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the water. Listen. Who maketh the clouds, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. His chariot, where is it? Who maketh the clouds, his chariot. See the clouds? See the chariot? This is what it's talking about. It's written in code. It's a mystery. It's hidden. It's cloaked. Okay? He's coming back in the clouds, is he not? And he don't look like a damn lizard. All right? This lizard goes along with, you're going to get a cattle prod stuck up your ass if you get abducted by aliens. No. This is what it means to be saved. When this chariot comes back, okay, and you get beamed up, you're being saved from the destruction that is going to happen, okay? And these chariots with their laser beams are going to be tearing shit up too, okay? Don't get it twisted. See them laser beams? Why are they showing you this? Okay? What's going to happen when Jesus comes back? Well, let's find out. He's coming back to tear shit up. Isaiah 63 and 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? Bozrah is talking about America. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. What does that mean? It means this. Traveling in the greatness of his strength. Okay? Who's that? I that speak in righteousness, mighty to... Who's that? Save. Who's that? Savior. Who's that? Who is this that cometh from Edom? It's a question. You have the answer? I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. This is talking about who you call Jesus. Traveling in the greatness of his strength. You see that? She'll be coming around the mountain. Gotta do it. You ever heard of Swing Low, Sweet Chariot? Ever heard of that? She'll be coming round the mountain. The original song, background, the original song was published in Old Plantation Hymns in 1899. It ostensibly refers to the second coming. How's he coming back? And subsequent, that's bullshit. No, ain't no rapture. That talk about being beamed up. With the she referring to the chariot, not that chariot, that the returning Salakia, that the returning Christ is depicted as driving. Wait a minute, read that again. The original song was published in the Old Plantation Hymns. In 1899, they knew what it was about. It ostensibly refers to the second coming of Christ, with the she referring to the chariot that the returning Christ is depicted as driving. The chariot that the returning Christ is depicted as driving. Okay? So when we go back to, okay, the clouds, His chair. Why does it keep saying chariot? Why does it keep saying clouds? And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice. And this is what it means to be saved. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, that big old chariot. And their enemies, who is that? Who is that? Who is this that cometh from Edom? And their enemies beheld them. They watched the whole thing. And right before the all of America was set ablaze with nuclear fire, they were saved. Who was saved? The elect of Israel. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory. You couldn't do that if you were dead. No, you were saved. How? You got beamed up. You got abducted by aliens. Who's the alien? The one that you ignorantly called Jesus and the angels. All right? So here's the culmination of World War III, those missiles. And to be saved from all that nuclear fire, you have to be abducted by aliens. All right? 1 Thessalonians 4 and 17. Ooh. Start at 16. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout. 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel and the trump of the Most High. And the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Then, how did he descend from heaven? In that chariot. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, beamed up into the chariot. We could do this all day. Then we which are alive and remain shall be abducted by aliens into the spaceship to meet the Lord in the air, in the sky. So shall we ever be with the Lord. All right? Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. What words? This is what it means to be saved. To be caught up together in the clouds, in the chariot, swing low. She'll be coming round the mountain. Second Ezra's 9. 9:13, Salakia. Second Ezra 13 and 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man, what man? Waxed strong, traveling in the greatness of his strength, with the thousands of heaven, the angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, that's the laser, they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Okay. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number, that's World War III, from the four winds of heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. So they're going to stop fighting each other in World War III and try to fight against the one you ignorantly called Jesus, the original angry black man, with his afro and dark skin, right? They're going to try to fight against him. After this I behold, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men. This is World War III. All the armies of the world, out of number from the four winds of heaven, to subdue the men that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain shall be coming round the mountain, and flew up upon it. But I beheld, and lo, look, he had graved himself, cut out of the mountain range, a great mountain, and flew up upon it. The hell does that mean? It's written in code, so you can't understand it. Understand? What are they showing? Somebody understands because they made movies about it. Remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Remember that? They know. Okay? They know that this is going to happen. It's written in the book. All right? And what it means to be saved. I'm saved. Okay? Jesus died his precious blood on Calvary. And you don't know what the F you're talking about. Okay? You got to be able to go precept, line upon line, precept upon precept, and get the understanding of this book. All right? Anyway, what we're watching is World War III. Right? How does World War III end? They stop fighting each other. Let's get it. They stop fighting each other. Okay? And then they try to fight against Jesus and the angels. All right? This is 2 Ezra 13 and 29. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. What does that mean? He's going to save a certain amount of people from the destruction that he's going to bring. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell upon the earth. Independence Day. You're going to be astonished. All to hell. Where is that? Look at the look on these people. Astonished as all hell. Independence Day. Aliens. Ain't no aliens. Okay? That's the one you call Jesus and the angels. And guess what they look like? They look like African American men. So that you understand. All right? So walk here. Continue on. And one shall undertake to fight against another. All right? This is World War III. One city against another. One place against another. One people against another. That's World War III. Now, and one realm against another. What is that? Realm. Well, you got the third dimension and you got the fourth dimension. Okay? The angels and the one you call Jesus are going to come from the fourth dimension, and all the armies of the world, okay, are being gathered right now in World War III. Joel 3 and 2. I also, who's I? That's the one you call God. His name is Yahweh. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And you read it right here in NLT. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Why? To judge them. He's going to destroy them all. Because he's going to cause all the armies of the world to fight against his son and the angels, and they're going to fail miserably. Okay? Let's get it. Okay, so he's going to gather them all in the valley of Jehoshaphat in the Middle East. right? And then proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. This is World War III, okay? Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. And then, as they're fighting, thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. That's when the one you called Jesus and the angels get into the fight. All right? So he basically got us setting an ambush. He can get everybody into the Middle East. Then he's going to bring out, he's going to spring the trap. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. They're going to stop fighting each other. Okay? And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. Right? Jump down to 33. And when all the people hear his voice, when they see those laser beams and them spaceships coming out of the fourth dimension, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. All nations that are going to be fighting against each other in the Middle East, that's what it means by every man in their own land, okay? Leave the battle they have one against another. That's called World War III. They're fighting against each other. They're going to stop fighting against each other. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and overcome him. Who's him? The man that came out of the sea. Okay? This guy, the one you called Jesus, willing to overcome him by fighting. Slovakia. Okay? And when all the people hear his voice, see those laser beams coming out of them spaceships, every man shall in their own land, meaning every nation that's over there fighting each other, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. That's World War III. They're going to stop fighting each other. They're going to come together to fight against Jesus, Yahushua, and the angels. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. They're going to try to fight against the angels and the one you call Jesus. All right? And I'm going to show you that in Revelation. Revelation 19 and 19. Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, all of them, and their armies. What were they? Gathered together at World War III to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. Who sat on the horse? Rider on the white horse. And I saw heaven opened, fourth dimension open, and behold, a UFO, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge. God is going to judge him in the valley of Jehoshaphat and make war. Okay? And his name is called the Word of God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High. Or the Word was with the powers, the angels. That is an armada. This is the universe's finest fighting force. Okay? So who sat on the horse? Jesus. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Those white horses are what you call UFOs. They're the chariots of God, the chariots of Israel. Right here, the kings and the armies of the earth and their armies are going to gather together to fight against him that sat on the horse and against his army. Who is that? Okay? And they're not going to succeed. They're going to get their ass kicked. All right, here's what's going on. So anyway, I've went kind of long, but the point is this, all right? The point, let's go back to REM. Okay, so that's great, Babylon the Great. The earthquake is mutually assured destruction missiles destroying, namely Babylon the Great, which is America, right? Birds, as birds flying, okay? Thousands of angels. Let's get that. That's not what I want. What do I want? As in Sinai. How about that? As in say I. Give I-A. I don't know how to spell it. Sinai. As in S-A-N-I-A. S-I-N-A-I. The holy place. Psalm 68:17. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. Okay? As birds flying, let's get that one more time. As birds, you forgot, flying. Okay, let's talk about them UFOs. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, save it, and passing over, he will preserve it. As what? Birds. REM. That's great, Babylon the Great. It starts with an earthquake, the end of the world. What starts with an earthquake? The end of the world as we know it. Birds. What birds? UFOs. And snakes. What snakes? And aeroplanes. Birds and snakes, serpents, and aeroplanes. Back to Revelation 12. In the war in heaven, in the sky. War in the sky, got to bring it out. And there's war in heaven, in the sky, not in the spiritual realm, in the sky. I'll show you that. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, birds and snakes. Birds and snakes. And the dragon fought and his blue angels. Aeroplanes. Blue angels. And prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. Now watch this. And the great dragon was cast out. That old snake called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Right? He was cast out into the earth, and his blue angels, aeroplanes, were cast out with him. See the airplanes, the blue angels? You see the snakes, snakes. All right? Get the picture out for you. What do we need? Blue angels right here. This is good enough. Let's get a couple of them. Get a couple out for you. And then we'll go back to REM and we'll cut it short. I'm sorry, I'm having a little fun. All right. Okay. That's right. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes. Aeroplane. That's not an airplane, that's a jet. All right. And there was war in heaven. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels, right, fought against the dragon. It's the dragon. And the dragon fought and his blue angels. Aeroplanes. Snakes. Birds, as birds flying. Birds, snakes in their aeroplanes. And Lenny Bruce's ass is not afraid. Okay? That's great. It starts with an earthquake. Mutually assured destruction. Birds, the chariots of Israel. And snakes, the so-called white men, the devil and Satan. That old serpent, the snake. An airplane in his blue angels. And Lenny Bruce, his ass, is not afraid. Got it? It's the end of your world. And the end of your world. What's that? In 2nd Ezra 6? Let me look it up real quick. So Lucky, bear with me. And we'll close. And the end of your world. Second Ezra 6 and 25. Oh. Yep. Start here. This is the time we're coming into Jacob's trouble. 2nd Ezra 6 and 23. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time, friends shall fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape, and shall see my salvation. What does salvation mean? To be saved, and the end of your world. What world? Esau's world. Okay, this. Start at 6. 2nd Ezra 6 and 6. Then did I consider these things, and they were all made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time, or when shall be the end of the first world, and the beginning of it that followeth? We're talking about the world as we know it right now, the end of that, and the beginning of the kingdom of heaven. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Now listen close. For Esau is the end of the world as we know it. Why? Because the earth is going to abide forever. Then what's going to happen after the end of the world as we know it right now? This is coming to an end with World War III. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. What is the world that followeth this world? It's called the kingdom of heaven for the Israelites. Let's get that and we'll close. This is Matthew 10. Watch close. You think heaven is for everybody. Let's see what the Bible says. And you'll be there. You're just going to be getting bullwhipped every day and picking cotton. All right. Let's start at Matthew 10 and 1. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, right? 12, jump down to 5. These 12, Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not. You are not. Go not into any way of the Gentiles. But the Gentiles can be saved too. Go not into any way of the Gentiles. Here's what Jesus said. You don't agree with Jesus. Go not into any way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. All right? I know you don't understand the Gentiles, but what did he say? He still said this. Qualified that. The Gentiles that Paul went to are not the other nations. They are Israelites. But go, what did he say? But go rather to who? Anybody that believes on me? But go rather, out of his own mouth, he sent forth. Jesus said, Go not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's all. Nobody else. Not the Gentiles, not the Samaritans, nobody else, not the Greeks, or who you think the Greeks are. The Greeks, there's Jew nor Greek, because they're both Israelites. That's what makes sense. Okay? Does he say go to the Greeks right here? No, he says go to the house of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So the Greeks, neither Jew nor Greek, them Greeks got to be Israelite, don't they? Because that qualifies this. But go rather, don't say nothing about no Greeks in there. So those Greeks or those Gentiles that Paul went to got to be Israelite, plain and simple. Now, don't even worry about this because you don't understand that either. And you don't understand. And as ye go to who? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. Preach, saying what? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. For who? The lost sheep of the house of it. And it don't say nothing after that. But God, this is does Paul supersede Jesus? No, he don't. You don't understand Paul. Paul is only dealing with Israelites. Whether they be Greeks or whether they be Gentiles, he's only dealing with Israelites. If you read Romans 9, he tells you that clearly, right? Who Jesus came for. Go rather to the lost sheep of the, and you can't change that. Okay? 15. Let's get 15. We're done. Matthew 15 and 24. But he, Yahushua, or who you call Jesus, answered and said, but Jesus said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And the Gentiles and the Greeks. Where is that? What did he say? Did he not say that? Yeah, but it doesn't mean that. It means something different. No, it means exactly what he said. Period. And when he comes, we go back to Revelation, all right? And who's about to be saved? And they, where is it? And they heard a voice. Who's they? Well, after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from God entered into them. Who is them? Their dead bodies, the Israelites, the two witnesses, the northern and the southern kingdom of Israel. They, after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from God entered. That's what we see going on right now. They're waking up to their true nationality. Oh, we're the 12 tribes of the house of Israel. Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminoles, speckled bird. Right? They, the elect of Israel, heard a great voice from heaven saying, unto them, come up hither. And they, the elect of Israel, ascended up to heaven in a cloud And their enemies, who are their enemies? Is God going to save his enemies? Who are God's enemies? Read it for yourself. For lo, thine enemy. It says, keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemy. Who? Oh, those are God's enemies. Make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. So we just qualify that God has enemies. Are God's enemies enemies of his people? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, God's people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Oh, the ones just waking up to the fact that they're Israelites. They have said, come and let us cut them. Who is them? His people. Off from being a nation, that the name of Israel and their enemies beheld them. Where do we go? Okay, go back. No, he's not going to save everybody. He's only saving Israelites. And their enemies stood there looking like a damn fool. What did their enemies say in that moment? What did they say? Wisdom of Solomon 5:3. And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say, here's what they're going to say, within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach, who we had them niggas by the neck and in the dirt and on the bottom, them damn niggers. Oh, we fucked up. We accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God, and his lot among the saints? Why is he getting beamed up? Okay. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. When they see it, when they see what? When they see Revelation 11, when they see and they heard a great voice from heaven saying to them, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and they're watching it, their mouth is going to drop on the ground. How is he numbered? Why is he getting beamed up? When they see it, right, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness. They're getting beamed up. They're being abducted by aliens at the strangeness of his what? Being saved. Salvation. So far beyond all that they looked for. And great fear fell upon them which saw them. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of it. When that big ass UFO pulls up and beams us up, they ain't gonna be ready for that. And here they are. Here they are right there. Their enemies watch the whole thing. Baffled, dumbfounded. Then they go into, oh man, we fucked up. Damn. Okay. Therefore we have fucked up. I'm sorry. Therefore we have erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath not shined up. They're going to be jacked up. Just read all the way down. All right. So with that, all right, there you have it. We hope that the elect were edified with that. Shalom.